discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Imaginarium, the Dream Factory. A game that Devin and I played while at Gen Con, and we finally got to play a full 4-player, it actually plays up to 5, game of it. So, I have a feeling this is going to have a lot of mixed reviews for some reason. But without giving too much away, let's talk about issues with the game. Because by no means is this game perfect in any way. I actually have a few qualms with it. Nothing too big, but I just want to see where everyone is at. So my first negative with the game is it says it's 90 minutes. With 4 people, per player. I feel like the game is a little too long for what it's worth. Because you don't, at the beginning of the game, you have all these interesting decisions, and you start building your engine, and like combining stuff, but I felt like halfway through it, there were just times where it's like, I don't even want to buy any of those. I just want to do my engine part. Right. And for a 90-minute game, probably actually, I would say more accurate is a 120-minute game. That is way too long.
When did we start? Do you remember?
Probably 7:30.
It is now 9:30.
Yeah, so it took about 2 hours. Because there was a point, even though my engine was working and it was doing exactly what I wanted it to do, and it seemed like everyone else's were doing the same thing, it gets stale, like, pretty early on.
Yeah, because then we're all fighting over just these blank spots,
Right.
so you don't have to buy something.
Right. I mean, I guess if you're wanting these just to pay for them, just to dismantle them, to get your goods, but as Devin found out, you just had a shit ton of crystals for no reason.
Right. I was like... It's like, I liked your... I mean, that was cool that you had your generator going. Right. But I just thought something else was going to come in. Right. Like something like crystal or copper to... Right. I thought surely something like that exists. Right. And when that comes up, my engine will be complete. Yeah. But had I known that was like the only way I'm going to get fucking points.
And that was like the only reason I did as good as I did is because I got this combo. Making it cheaper to buy points, and the fact I can do it up to 5 times. And once I got this and the wood, it was just, I mean, that's all I was going to do, and that's not really that fun. Because, I mean, it's almost like it's delaying the inevitable. Almost. Like, it's like, I know that's exactly what I'm going to do, so now I just have to trudge through it, especially when I'm going last. I have to trudge through everyone's turns to know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, there's like some attack cards. There's, like, if you could have gotten another one, like, you would have been getting 3 points every turn.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
It's all dependent on if these come out, like, when they come out.
Right.
So, like, if the point generator one came out way early on, that would have been way better.
Because
then every turn you're getting at least a point. Then if you can manage to get a second one through just, I guess, lucky play of, hey, I happen to go first, boom, I'm going to go there, and then you combine it, then it's like 3 points every turn. And then, but even then, that's almost like delaying the...
So that versus spinning them for victory points, or getting those. Is that are those the only methods of
that's
victory points?
Yeah. Yeah, because really, you turn Charcoalium into victory points. That seems to be the crux. And projects. Because you can't bank on the, what was it called? You can't bank on the Diplomator, just because it's random on when it comes out. So, in all reality, probably what you should have done with your crystals is done one turn, sell 3 of them, so you get 9.
Yeah.
And then your next turn, you sell them and get... Well, hopefully you have at least 1, then you'll get 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
slow. Like,
yeah, I mean, from all the cards that we see available, definitely that seems to be the optimal build.
Exactly, and that's my other negative. Is
I mean, otherwise, like, why am I juggling all these resources? To create more resources?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then it's like...
Well, I guess you could have done it just to be able to, like, you sell them, because the other way you can get points is you dismantle them. So you buy all these, and then you just immediately pitch them, but you have to build them first.
That's true.
To get the victory points.
Yeah.
But that's also slow. This just seems to be in my opinion, the best way to get points. But it takes a lot. Like, I had to get these two. I was struggling for a little bit because I couldn't get 2 resources enough until I got this. Then, like, everything just happened to go right. So I don't know if this is fair to, like, judge that as the best. Like, literally everything is right. Like, people can't steal charcoal from me. I generate 9 every turn. I get my 2 resources to turn into 9, and then I can spend it for less points. Like, this is a lot. On top of that, I can also, it helps me go for these projects.
Right. It's just, I thought there were going to be other methods of point generation than just turning in, like, alternatives to, because without the turning Charcoalium into points, that's like the only avenue of points. Or this particular card that generates
that one, or dismantling. But
so
this seems to be the quickest, because in 1 turn, Marcy got 8 points.
Right.
Which is huge, because the game's, like,
huge.
Huge. The game, I mean, 20 points is not a lot if you think about it, but it takes so long to start getting 20.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you kept asking me how many I had, and I kept answering, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to keep all this secret. For a reason, because it's like if you had like 18 and like I happen to have 20, and you don't know how much I have, then but if you knew, then you can like try and scrounge as much as possible just to break that and potentially win.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's my main qualm. Is I just thought there'd be more to do.
Yeah.
With like with victory point generation.
What do you guys think? Did you guys think it got stale?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, because in the middle I just didn't, like you said, I didn't know what to do. Like,
Right.
I bought a machine I didn't even need.
Exactly, and it's like, well, I could spend it to get resources, but like endgame points is only 2 per maximum. Like if it was like whoever has the most of crystals gets, 5 points. Who has the second most gets 3 or something like that. But since it's just a static 2, no matter how much you have, that's also kind of lackluster. Because then that would be a viable path. Like you're gonna generate a shit ton of crystal, and like crystal could be like if you have the most, it's worth the most points. That would have been interesting. And then copper is the second most, wood is third most, and like charcoalium shouldn't be anything because you can just extract it. Like that would make it way more interesting.
Right.
Because in an engine builder game, which is exactly what this is, you want a variety of things to do. So everyone can try different methods. Kind of like, this kind of reminds me, nowhere in theme or gameplay, but just in overall kind of like the way it felt is that Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done. You remember where it was kind of like we played it and I was like, I would never not do this strategy.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt like a one-time play game because it's like no one else is gonna, like, this caused me to win and I could see how everyone else struggles, so I would never not play this way. That's how I feel here. Like, I would never not go for this route.
Right.
And because there's no other options. Like, in a good engine builder, you want to look at it and be like, oh, I want to try that this time and see how that engine works. But since there's no expansions for this game, it's fucking impossible to get in the United States, apparently.
God.
I think it's actually for sale at Gen Con this year, but yeah. There's a variety of projects, and they're relatively easy to go for, but I don't know.
I feel like there's a pacing issue.
You think?
With the game, for sure, because like Marcy said, she's like, yeah, in the middle, she kind of like petered out. For me, it was about the point, and you'll hear me say it, I said this game is fucking stupid. Because, like, for how long the game is and what you can do and, like, how many slots you have unless you get lucky and you get the guy who gives you extra slots, like, it's not fucking short enough.
Right.
Like, I was like, oh, so now I have to just waste another turn, like, which is my fault for not thinking about it, but, like, 4 slots is too little if you want to actually, like, grow something. It's just, there's just a pacing issue. Because, like, I also feel like a lot of us, like, really rush to get really good stuff.
Right.
And then it's kind of like, where do we go from now?
Right.
Like, now on.
Yeah, and it almost feels like a solitaire game, because the only thing that affects each other is attack cards, but that's only once. And they're not really that big of a deal.
Right.
Because we thought that
resources.
That's really it, yeah. And it's like, oh, like, if you stole crystal from him, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, or, I mean, I for some reason, like, I bought this defense card because I thought charcoal, like, our attack cards kept triggering.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm fine, but they don't. So that wouldn't have been the end of the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, it did help me get a project.
Yeah.
But I mean, the defense cards and the attack cards are just kind of there's not that many. So in all reality, halfway through, I was sitting there and I'm like, well, he was thinking, I'm like, Marcy, just go. There's nothing he's gonna do that's gonna affect you. So that's probably what makes the game 90 minutes, because you can just churn out turns.
Yeah.
Like I don't like, even if I'm going last, since we basically reserve spots, so no one else you can't like buy what I'm gonna buy. There's literally nothing that turn order really matters for except for reserving. So everyone can just kind of do their turn, except for the project part,
Yeah.
because but even then that should be kind of something worth fighting for, because yeah, you get the max points for the first one, but if you follow up, you just get 1 point less. Like, because you were the third one on here, and you still got 3 points. It's like you should get a point less for everyone who did it, because it's like not as impressive. Just to make it more like tight and like more to strive for, because it's like, oh crap, I was gonna
get those.
Exactly. But it's like 1 point less, and then if you get this guy, and it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'll get either an extra point or I'll bank out and still get the max off of that. What do you guys think of the theme?
I mean, you're just a machine builder. I think it's stupid.
You think it's stupid?
Yeah.
It's
You're
a cute.
tinkerer.
Yeah.
And cute characters.
Yeah.
The
theme I use.
artwork,
Theme I guess I meant the
I'm gonna shut
artwork.
the door.
What do you guys think? Okay.
And I really like the artwork. Did you notice this, like a cat beetle?
God, and why? Why is he like that? What's with the teeth? Bruno Cathala has a teeth fetish.
Right.
I thought he was
It's like
cute.
all these machines are made out of like people and creatures, and all the people
and you know,
are fucking
the tiger
mutants.
Pomeranian.
He's
Yeah.
pretty cute.
It's like he had this weird ass theme to. I mean, I guess it kind of fits with Imaginarium, more or less, but because it's like you can only imagine this kind of stuff.
Every time I see that card, I think of the cockatrice from GMM.
That is a good.
What is it?
From Good Mythical Morning, it's their opening thing that
The
breathes fire.
cockatrice.
Yeah, yeah, that does kind of look like it.
I was, I mean, like, the art is just A+ for making me just unsettled.
And I
Right.
like that.
And in all reality,
Some of it
that's the only reason why I kind of bought it, and
Yeah.
why it attracted me to the game in the first place.
It's like,
Um,
that one's a frog.
Right.
Yeah, I
with,
did see
crystal,
him, yeah.
crystal hands. And if you kind of look at them, they kind of do what, like, the abilities on the cards kind of do what the art is suggesting. Like, this guy lets me buy, like, do more more purchasing, and he's looking at crystals.
I don't know.
I mean,
looking at the Flamelore, I don't agree.
the Flamelore. Oh.
Because he's just,
Well, he gives you a resource of your choice, and he poops it out.
You turn
I mean,
whatever you want into whatever
Yeah,
you want.
it's a very loose, like, interpretation of things.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean,
I like
the game works fine. Like,
The egg has the molecule composition.
I did see that. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
what do you guys think of the double arrow thing?
Well, it sure did fuck me sometimes, but
Yeah, it did get a little frustrating until I got this fellow. But then
Yeah,
I didn't quit using him
You just exactly.
at that point.
Yeah, it seems like for every hindrance, there's an assistant that breaks it. And it's like, I think I would like this game a lot more if it was an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Less than that for me.
It can't be any less than an hour.
4 minutes probably.
No.
Yeah, Bible
Like,
3.
You're
right.
But initially it's interesting, like, because you pick the two, but like I never felt bothered by it, mainly because my build was literally just kind of just going back and forth between here.
See, yeah, and that
I
works
wanted to be
for
able
you.
to destroy it and repair at the same time.
Yes, so that's actually funny because I have beef with this being all the way up here, and then this one being like all the way
The
with these
repair
two.
and the combination.
Because, like,
Yeah.
just looking at this part of the board, it makes me think that, like, yeah, you're supposed to cycle through. Like, you're supposed to get some green cards and then break them down and then get, like, a red card and then just keep going on and on and on.
Right.
And dismantling.
And you
when,
are.
Like, it's, yeah, correct. I agree. I know. So dismantle is, right there, right?
Yep.
And then, I guess it wasn't that one. But, like, if I wanted to dismantle and, repair, like, you have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it just drags on. And it just keeps adding to that, like, this is going on longer than it should be.
That's true, because if you want to do anything productive with your workshop, it takes 2 turns.
Right. Which again, it's just the feeling of, like, this is taking just forever.
And, I mean, there were a couple times where people went where I wanted to go, but ultimately I think there aren't really, like, a lot of good choices either. Like in a worker placement game, which this kind of is, along with an engine builder, which, funny enough, those are like 2 of my, that's where I become full, like, wired. But worker placement, like, games, you want to have interesting decisions, and you want to have that player interaction of, like, okay, if they go there, then that's gonna fuck everything. I'm like, damn it! But that never really happened in this game. And then with an engine builder, like I said, you just want it to be exciting, because it takes you so long to do it, and you're like, yes, finally, boom, now it's going. This one I was like, oh, yeah, okay, there's 9, and...
The only excitement was trying to guess what everybody else had behind their back.
Pretty much, yeah, that's true. Like, okay, and I think that's what he wanted. He wanted the game can end at any moment, but it takes so long to get 20 points, then it's like...
So you're kind of wishing that it would just end.
Yeah, because it takes too long.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too complex of a game. I will say that.
I mean, it was fun, like, seeing everything churn out. I'm just... Yeah, I mean, I was really having fun at that point. I was like, oh, I'm building this, and this creates this, and I can use these to create that, and
yeah, but even you had a point where you're like, I don't know what to fucking do.
Right, and then they kind of fell off, and I was like, well, there's no way I can create an engine that Seth's got going on there, and I just thought something else would come out eventually that would pertain to victory points or getting more.
Yeah, there should be more cards out there, like, yeah, if you turn in 2 crystals for a point or something.
Yeah, something like that is what I wanted.
Because that would definitely make it more interesting.
Because I thought like the end game was like you get a generator, you turn it to a machine, turn it to something else, and then you finally get like an end piece that.
No, those are just 4 slots.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm just like how I kind of envisioned cards would be coming out, but then you have something to turn it into.
Gotcha.
To victory points.
Yep. Oh yeah, literally like a workshop where it's like, okay, hey, I'm gaining my resources, and I'm gonna use them in my machine to get it. Yeah.
That's how I thought it was going to turn out, but none of those cards appeared, and the only way was through the exchange action.
Yep. But yeah, like, what do you guys think of the use of the iconography along?
I'm okay with it, because they have like a nice little handy thing that you can look at for like your board, and then I mean the book isn't hard to just look over. And
right, and I mean if you really think about it, it all kind of just makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think an expansion would do this game wonders. Like, you add the variable ways to get points, like more projects or more assistants. But even
more ways to get personal projects.
Yeah, that would be really cool, for like personal objectives.
Yeah, because could I only do him once?
Yeah.
Yes, he was a one-time.
That was so fucking stupid. I was like, oh, neat.
He came in second.
Like, I came in. We tied for second. So I'm good enough. But like the fact that I could only do it once, and thank God it was fucking easy. But
yeah, I mean, because everyone else is they're almost like passive abilities. Now I can just do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, to have some of the assistants in there that are one-time uses is kind of lame.
I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Because I mean, this one, what do? You did that one, which is worth 3 points. I guess you could have went for this one to get 2 extra points. But at least with him, you should be able to do both of them.
I've broken the tie. Yeah.
Because that would make him worth a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
I like
someone
that.
Else couldn't get.
Yeah,
exactly.
I completely just forgot.
Because we kind of share those points.
Exactly. And yeah, the difference if someone gets there first is negligible for the most part. But yeah, I like that idea of having personal objectives to go for.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Would be really neat. So yeah, I mean, I guess what it comes down to is that the game length would be fine if there was a better way to build engines and generate points.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it comes down to.
More options.
Because I actually really like the turn order thing. If you want to go earlier, then you go up and you pay more. And then you go back and you get to be first. It worked out really well for me, luckily. Or if you want to get kind of the cheaper ones, there's a give and a take, which I like in games like this. And I like the action wheel. I think it gives you some alternates, like, crap, I can't do this, so it's going to take 2 turns, but because the game is kind of slow and a little boring, the 2 turn to do anything productive is kind of a negative.
A bit, yeah.
Production, I think, is really good, though.
Yeah.
Like, this...
Names were awful.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, yeah.
I already forgot Nicodemus.
Nicodemus.
Oh my god, I don't think that's it.
No, it's okay.
So, does anyone have anything else
No.
to bring up? Any... Okay. Scale of 1 to 10... Devin. Thick ass.
Well, I mean...
I will say, though, actually, I'm curious to see what this is rated on Board Game Geek. And I remember last year, because this game came out in 2018, at the end of the year I always do a top 5 worst games of the year, disappointing / worst games, and this was my friend's #1 game of the year.
This game was?
Yeah, and I'm like, no, this is not the worst game of the year. I don't remember what I put.
Or best game?
He said this was his worst game of 2018.
Oh fuck!
And I'm like, it is not that bad.
Maybe he just played some really fucking good games.
No, he didn't, because I know what kind of games he likes.
Monopoly.
Honestly, it's just filth.
It's just trash. This has a... Alright, I'll let you guys know whenever we all do our rating. So,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean...
I don't want it to skew what you guys think.
I like a lot of what the game offers. I just wish there was more ways to get victory points. But it's like, knowing that, I play a little differently. I'm still going to give it a 7, because like, I haven't run into, an engine builder / worker placement that I enjoyed as much.
Oh, well, neat.
I enjoyed this one.
Marcy? 2. It's like,
I
oh.
don't know.
You
Just
cannot.
a 5.
A 5. An average, across the board average game. What about you?
Well, just not my kind of game in general, I don't think. And I think the fact that there's just a lack of way to get those points. I just don't want to play it again. Like, I want to give it a 4, but I feel like I'm being mean to it.
That's why I didn't give it a 4.
I'll give it, my gut's going with a 4. I really just didn't enjoy my time with it.
Yeah, I disagree with a 4.
No, that's fine. That's why it's my score.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way...
What would you rate it if you were being objective instead of subjective? Because you're like, this isn't my kind of game.
Oh.
Instead of actually...
That's usually how I try to be.
You try to be subjective or objective?
I mean, because, like,
I try to do a little bit both.
You're
unless I'm
reading
really
it all to, explain the game. Like, it was just like, whoa, there's too much going on here.
Mhm.
Like, it had to be broke down and explained to me of what was going on.
Right. But I feel like halfway through, I mean, you were just like knocking it out of the park, but then it's like, oh shit! Like there were a couple times where I was like legitimately worried. I was like, wait, because then you got that card which I was going for, and then like you were hitting projects a lot quicker than me, and I was like, oh shit, they might have more points than I do. I really need to work. I try to do a little bit of both. Like if I hate a game, like I have to like be seething to give it a really, really low score.
It was okay.
You're right. And yeah, like a 5, I totally understand. A 4 though, you horrible, horrible person.
It's her personal opinion.
Exactly. She also, never mind.
So...
Huh? What was that?
You didn't have fun early on? I mean, that's what I enjoyed about it, because I felt like we were all really on the same level for a good portion of the game.
Yeah.
And we were all just kind of struggling and having our own different successes, which is what I was enjoying.
Right.
I mean, granted, yes, your project proved the superior come, later down the line.
But in future games, this would never happen.
Mm.
Like, especially if I was playing with you guys again.
Yeah, we'd all be incredibly leery of that build.
So it would be a lot more difficult. So,
right.
But I mean, still, that still doesn't take away the fact that yes, it's still kind of 1 or 2 ways to get points.
Right.
Which is maybe what he was going for. I don't know. Still a 4 though?
I mean, I guess.
Gonna give it an 8? Alright.
So... 4.5.
It's almost there.
Solid 10.
I with an expansion, I could definitely see a 7. I'm gonna give it a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Because I know for a fact that this is kind of this is an outlier. Like, this build, like, well, yes, I would aim to do this every game, which actually kind of is boring. It doesn't give a lot of replayability, I think. Well, yes, you guys wouldn't let me do this again. This is still what I would aim for.
Right, which is what you were talking about with the
Crusader's Light will be done. And in that game, no one could stop that thing.
Yeah.
But this one, it's like, okay, well, we know what cards he got, let's take those. But even then, the only reason you would do that is just to hinder me versus actually try and build it yourself. And that's kind of, because we all saw how well this worked, that everyone would be trying to stop it. So yeah, it doesn't really give a lot of replayability either. I'm going to give it a 6. Yeah, I was going to 6.5, but I think I talked myself down for all the reasons that I've said above. Board Game Geek gave it a 7.2, which is not terrible at 90 minutes. So people say it's best with 3. That might also be the case. Less players. Because
Might go a little quicker.
It'd go a little bit quicker. Yeah, and in a 2-player game, the rules change. You actually take, let's see, well, I can't even find it. Like everyone grabs like a different pawn. So if it was Devin and I playing, he'd be pink, and then one of us would control this, so we block each other from going places. Makes it a little bit more cutthroat.
Pawns and you could block them.
Yep. So if like, oh, he might actually like really want that attack card. If it's my turn, I'm going first, then I could go there with them, so he can't get it, and then I can still do what I want. So I think a 2-player game would also, it makes it a little bit more cutthroat, a little bit more, you'd have to work a little bit harder. So yeah, I think less people would actually make it a lot better, because 4, there's just not enough going on. Do you guys have anything else?
No, not really. I mean,
sweet. So that is Imaginarium, everyone. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.